Every drug and its effect explained in 17 minutes by the everything professor, not the nothing professor, everything. And it's crazy. We all know that one guy who just can't put down the drugs, bro. Can't put down the alcohol. Just gallivanting and being, frankly, a loser. And you don't want to be a loser, do you? Me and you, yes, we're all good boys and girls. We don't take the drugs. Come on now. Drugs aren't cool. You learned that in school. So obviously we don't do drugs. So we know that. But we need to understand why we're not doing the drugs. Because sometimes if you don't understand how bad it really is, you might think it's not that deep, but it is that deep to never take the drugs. Okay? Even caffeine, we all know that guy that's always taking caffeine pills, coffee, energy drinks. Like, it's enough, bro. You want to blow up your heart. Chill out. Let's get into the video and we'll truly understand why we're all healthy individuals and we will never engage in the drugs.
Caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant, a chemical that speeds up your brain and nervous system. It's found in coffee, tea, soda, and energy drinks, powering billions of people every morning. For most, it isn't just a drink, it's a ritual. The day doesn't begin until that first sip hits. Once you drink it, caffeine enters your bloodstream and quickly travels to your brain. There, it blocks a chemical called adenosine, which is what tells your brain it's tired. So caffeine doesn't give you energy, it just hides your exhaustion. Your neurons start firing faster, your heart beats stronger, and suddenly you feel sharper, more alive. Within 20 to 30 minutes, the peak kicks in. You're focused, energized, and motivated. The world feels clearer, easier, more controllable. It's not euphoria, it's confidence in a cup. But as your body breaks it down, adenosine floods back, and you crash. That clear focus fades into irritability, jitteriness, and the creeping thought that maybe one more coffee will fix it. Caffeine is mildly addictive, but it hides behind routine. Over time, your brain adjusts and stops producing as much natural alertness. You need more caffeine to feel normal. Quit suddenly and you'll notice it. Headaches, fatigue, and brain fog. We joke about needing coffee to live, but that's withdrawal disguised as culture. The truth is,
Yeah, that stuff is terrible. I can't lie. There are actually people who are addicted to coffee. Without their cup of coffee in the morning, they cannot function. I think that's just kind of sad, really. Especially if you're under the age of like 30, you should be young and strong enough to not need caffeine, bro. You just get your 8 to 9 hours sleep, maybe 7, and then you should be good to go, mate. You don't need coffee. I don't drink coffee. It's not necessary. I sleep well, take care of myself, and I'm healthy, energized, and ready to go. And yeah, I'm also quite active, so you could say I could even use the coffee, but I don't. So if there's no excuse for me, there's no excuse for you. If you're young enough, don't drink coffee, bro. You don't need it.
caffeine doesn't wake you up. It just delays your tiredness until later. Nicotine. Nicotine is a fast-acting stimulant.
The worst. We all hate cigarettes. I can't lie, I hate the smell of cigarettes. That shit is disgusting, genuinely. I can't lie, you smoke spare cigarettes, you look at the box, you buy the box, and you read it. Yeah, this is gonna kill you. See right here, this label right here, this will kill you. And it's just a picture of the lungs, bro. It's just a picture of how your lungs cooked and black. And you're still like, yeah, that's for me, I wanna smoke that. It's like, how does that even make sense? You're paying to kill yourself. Does that make sense? It doesn't. So quit, bro. Stop doing it.
Found in tobacco and vapes. The chemical that hooks people, not the smoke itself. It's inhaled through smoke or vapor, and within seconds it hits the brain, releasing a surge of dopamine, the chemical that makes you feel calm, focused, and content. At first, it feels perfect. Your heart rate rises just a little, your thoughts clear up, and stress melts away. That's the onset. A brief, clean high that feels controlled. For a few minutes, your brain runs smoother. But nicotine burns out quickly. As dopamine fades, the calm turns into tension, restlessness, and a craving for another hit. That's the come down, and it's what keeps people chained to the cycle. Each puff gives temporary relief from the discomfort that the last puff created. That's the trap. Nicotine doesn't actually relax you. It just resets withdrawal. Your brain learns that peace only exists between cravings. Over time, nicotine changes how your brain releases dopamine. meaning without it, everything feels dull and flat. Physically, it damages your lungs, blood vessels, and heart. But mentally, it's even worse. It convinces you that you can't cope without it. Alcohol.
That just sucks, genuinely. That's how they get into a cycle, smoke for years, and then die an early dog's death. You don't want that. Come on now. Cigarettes are not cool, bro.
Alcohol is a depressant, meaning it slows down your brain and nervous system. It's drunk everywhere. At parties, dinners, celebrations, commiserations. People drink to loosen up, to forget, or just to belong. Once it enters your bloodstream, it starts disrupting how your brain communicates with itself. At first, that feels good. The onset brings warmth, relaxation, and a sense of confidence. You feel more open, more social. Your thoughts quiet down, your body relaxes, and the moment feels easy. For a while, alcohol seems like the key to connection. Then comes the peak. Judgment fades, emotions rise. You talk louder, laugh harder, maybe cross lines you wouldn't sober. The body starts losing balance, coordination slips, but the brain still feels like everything's fine. That's the illusion. Alcohol slows your brain while convincing you you're still in control. Eventually, the come-down hits. The fun tilts into exhaustion. The warmth turns heavy. The buzz turns blurry. Hours later, you're dehydrated, nauseous, and foggy. The next morning, your brain chemistry crashes completely. The hangover. Alcohol is addictive in quiet, familiar ways. The more often you drink, the more your brain expects it to relax. Soon you're not drinking for fun, but just to feel normal. Over time, it damages your liver, weakens your heart, and erodes your self-control. It's a chemical that makes you feel alive, while slowly dulling everything that makes you human. Cannabis.
And seriously, this stuff is just, I won't lie, this is my hot take, it might piss you off. But all these drugs, alcohol, smoking, this stuff is just for losers, bro. If you're a real one, you're actually living life to the fullest. You have everything set up in a world that life brings you genuine happiness and joy. Then there's no need to rely on drugs for a temporary high, temporary good feeling. Because life is already giving you the high and joy that you need from real meaningful things. This is purely just for losers. And there's all it does, temporary escape from your real issues, it's just to cope, and you don't actually get any real joy from that. You need to sort your life out and lock in. And even if you drink every now and then, you're not someone that drinks all the time, then you need to at least admit yourself, okay, tonight I'm being a loser, I'm going to drink, but I'm going to lock in later and I won't let this be or get out of control. That's how you have to look at it.
Cannabis is a psychoactive drug made from the marijuana plant. It's most often smoked, vaped, or eaten as an edible. The main active chemical is THC, which interacts with the brain's endocannabinoid system, the network that regulates mood, memory, and perception. When THC enters the bloodstream, it rushes to the brain and binds to receptors that normally handle natural chemicals called anandamides, molecules that help you feel relaxed and balanced. That's when the onset hits. Time slows down, your senses sharpen, and everything feels slightly funnier, warmer, softer. At its peak, cannabis can heighten creativity and calm, or tip into confusion and paranoia depending on the dose and mindset. Music sounds deeper, colors feel stronger, and ideas seem profound. It's a distortion of normal reality that feels both dreamy and focused at once. As the come-down begins, thought slows, speech drifts, and tiredness sets in. For some, it's gentle. For others, it's heavy, an invisible fog that lingers into the next morning. Cannabis is mildly addictive, but mostly psychologically. Regular use can dull motivation, mess with short-term memory, and in heavy doses, trigger anxiety or panic. It's often called harmless, but it quietly reshapes how your brain rewards relaxation. Cocaine.
And weed is crazy, bro. I used to have these flatmates, genuinely high all the time, always smoking weed, doing this on screen as well. They were crazy people, bro. Always on the weed, every single time. It's like, son, give it a rest. You're doing too much. They were low-key couch chewers, but it is what it is. We're in a new place now, so it was all good.
Is a powerful stimulant made from coca leaf. It's most commonly snorted as a white powder, but can also be smoked or injected. Once it enters the bloodstream, it floods the brain with dopamine, blocking your body from reabsorbing it. Suddenly, your brain is drowning in pleasure signals. The onset is almost instant, a rush of euphoria, energy, and confidence. Your heart pounds, your pupils widen, and your brain feels electric. Every thought feels brilliant. Every move feels perfect. You feel untouchable.
And then you end up like those homeless guys on the street. Please, brother, can I get some more? You know I'm good for it. And they start feeling for it. Life ruined. You don't want to be like that, do you?
At the peak, you're fast, focused, and alive. But the brain's reward system is already burning through its fuel. The high is sharp and short. Within minutes, dopamine levels crash, and the come-down slams in. Anxiety rises, mood drops, and exhaustion hits. You crave more just to feel normal again. Cocaine is highly addictive. The brain quickly learns to link it with pleasure, motivation, and control. But it's an illusion. Each hit rewires you to need another. Over time, it damages the heart, constricts blood vessels, and rewires brain chemistry so deeply that joy without it feels impossible. MDMA. MDMA, better known as ecstasy or Molly, is a synthetic stimulant and hallucinogen. It's usually swallowed as a pill or capsule at parties or clubs. The chemical floods your brain with serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, the trio responsible for happiness, reward, and connection. As the onset begins, warmth spreads through your body. Music sounds richer, lights shimmer, and touch feels electric. You feel deeply connected to friends, to strangers, to everything around you. The brain is running on maximum empathy. At the peak, serotonin levels spike and the world feels perfect. You dance for hours. You talk non-stop. You feel infinite. But MDMA burns through the brain's supply of serotonin so fast that within hours, the come-down starts. Emotion drains out of you, replaced by emptiness, sadness, or exhaustion. The high leaves as suddenly as it arrived. Used too often, MDMA damages the neurons that release serotonin, making natural happiness harder to reach. Physically, it can overheat your body, dehydrate you, and in rare cases, cause organ failure.
Imagine banging out MDMA so much that you just become depressed, bro. You're on it so much, you're happy too much, bro. And now you're just a sad sack, like, just like depressed all the time. Man, that's crazy. Work, I can't lie. Then you become so depressed after that, your organs fail. And just mega cooked.
It's called a love drug because it makes you feel connected to everyone. But when it's over, you realize that connection was chemical, not real. And your brain's left paying the price. LSD. LSD is a hallucinogen, a mind-bending chemical that completely rewires how your brain processes reality. It's usually taken on tiny papers placed on the tongue, and the amount you ingest is microscopic, measured in millionths of a gram. Once it hits, LSD binds to serotonin receptors, particularly one called 5-HT2A, which helps shape perception and mood. That's when the onset begins. Patterns start moving, colors shift, sounds seem to glow. It's not like seeing hallucinations appear, it's like reality itself starts breathing. At the peak, which can last for hours, time loses meaning. Your sense...
That's trippy. So if you could be looking at the wall, right? The wall. See the wall behind me is white. So if you're like on it, like, and then you look at the wall, and now it's like, whoa, dude, the wall is turned red. I wonder if that's how it works. We just see that the whole world is just changing colors, a bit blurry, a bit wavy. I haven't done it, so I don't know. But if you've done it, let me know in the comments. Is that true? Do you see the world in a different, weird color?
Of self, the part of your brain that says, I'm me, dissolves. You might feel connected to the universe, euphoric, terrified, or both. Emotions become physical. Music feels alive. The boundaries between thoughts and sensations blur until everything feels like one continuous wave. Then comes the come-down, slow, gentle, like returning from orbit. Reality rebuilds itself piece by piece. You might feel calm, reflective, or emotionally drained. Some people describe it as a reset, others as being rewired. LSD isn't physically addictive, but it's unpredictable. The same dose can be bliss or nightmare, depending on your mindset and environment. It can also trigger flashbacks or anxiety long after the trip is over. LSD opens the mind, but it doesn't always close the door cleanly behind it. Ketamine. Ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic, originally designed for surgery. It's used medically today in small doses to treat depression, but recreationally, it's taken for its out-of-body effects. It's snorted as a powder or injected in liquid form. When it enters your system, ketamine blocks a chemical messenger called glutamate, which helps your brain process sensory input and maintain awareness. The onset comes fast. Within minutes, the world starts to feel distant, muffled, almost dreamlike. At the peak, perception detaches completely. You might feel like you're floating above your body, or watching your life from a distance, what users call the K-hole.
Damn, that sounds weird and freaky. F that.
Time stops making sense. You might see yourself from the outside, or feel like you've left your body entirely. It's not always pleasant. For some, it's peaceful. For others, terrifying. As the come down begins, awareness slowly returns. Vision clears, speech reconnects, but the world still feels foggy. For a short while, it can leave you strangely calm, like your thoughts are moving underwater. Ketamine isn't classically addictive, but it builds tolerance fast. Heavy use can cause memory problems, bladder damage, and emotional numbness. It can disconnect you from pain, but also from meaning. It's a drug that separates body from mind, and sometimes they don't fully meet again. Opioids are...
Sometimes they don't fully meet again. The hell does that mean? That's so ominous, bro. What the heck? You think, what is that? Maybe their personality change? Or are they messed up for life or mentally? That's trippy, bro. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
Painkillers that come from the opium poppy, or are made synthetically in labs. They're used medically as morphine or oxycodone, but on the street, they show up as heroin or fentanyl. They're swallowed, smoked, snorted, or injected, and all work the same way. They attach to opioid receptors in your brain and body, blocking pain and flooding you with euphoria. The onset brings warmth, comfort, and relief. A deep, heavy calm that feels like safety itself. Pain fades, stress disappears, and your body melts. It's not an energetic high. It's like sinking into the world's softest blanket. At the peak, everything slows. Breathing becomes shallow, your heartbeat slows, and thoughts drift. It's bliss, but dangerously close to unconsciousness. Many users chase that feeling, but each time it's shorter, weaker, harder to reach. Then comes the come down, and it's brutal. Anxiety, muscle pain, nausea, sweating, insomnia. Every nerve in your body screams for the drug again. That's withdrawal. It doesn't just make you want more. It makes life unbearable without it. Opioids are among the most addictive substances known.
Yeah, genuinely life-ruining. Imagine living your life, please brother, on times 10, constantly wanting the next hit. How do you even focus at anything when you're not doing drugs, bro? Stuff is too sad. You need genuine professional help to even think about quitting such a thing.
They rewire the brain's survival system, teaching it that the drug is as essential as air. Over time, they destroy tolerance, organs, relationships, everything. The warmth they give in the beginning is the same warmth they take away from everything else in life. Methamphetamine. Methamphetamine is a powerful stimulant, a chemical that
Voices are always changing in these videos, and it's so drastic too, golly.
floods your brain with dopamine and adrenaline, supercharging everything at once. It's often taken by smoking, swallowing, snorting, or injection, and within seconds, it hits like a lightning bolt. As the onset begins, energy explodes. Your heart races, your mind sharpens, and every sense turns up to maximum volume. You feel awake, unstoppable, invincible. Talk becomes fast, thoughts move quicker than words, and sleep feels completely optional. At the peak, the rush is pure intensity. Confidence turns into euphoria. Motivation becomes obsession. You might clean your whole house, talk for hours, or chase a goal that suddenly feels like destiny. It feels like control, but your brain's just burning through its entire dopamine supply in one go. Then comes the come down, and it's harsh. Energy vanishes. The mind crashes into exhaustion, depression, and paranoia. The world feels gray, slow, and empty, a chemical hangover that can last for days. Meth is extremely
Yikes.
addictive. Each high rewires your brain to crave that rush again, while destroying the system that creates pleasure naturally. Over time, it leads to severe weight loss, insomnia, hallucinations, and memory loss. Meth gives you energy that feels infinite, until you realize it's stolen from your future self. Psilocybin, better known as magic mushrooms, is a hallucinogen found in certain fungi. It's eaten raw, brewed as tea, or ground into capsules. Once consumed, the body converts psilocybin into psilocin, which interacts with serotonin receptors in the brain. The onset starts within half an hour. Your senses sharpen, patterns shimmer, and reality begins to ripple. Laughter comes easily. Music feels alive. You're aware of everything at once: your body, your breath, the air around you. At the peak, perception transforms completely. Colors pulse, time stretches, and you may feel a deep connection to nature, memory, or emotion. Some describe it as enlightenment, others as chaos. It's like your mind dissolves into something bigger, beautiful or overwhelming, depending on what you bring into it. As the come down arrives, thoughts settle. The world slowly rebuilds itself. You might feel peaceful, grateful, or emotionally open. But for some, it leaves confusion or anxiety that lingers for days. Psilocybin isn't physically addictive, but it's powerful. It can help people break old patterns, or, in the wrong setting, trigger panic or psychosis. Mushrooms don't show you something new. They just pull back the curtain on what's already in your mind. Benzodiazepine. Benzodiazepines, or benzos.
That's crazy. So imagine you take the shrooms and you start seeing all your past adventures, your past memories, and I guess those could be good or bad depending on the kind of person you are, and that could be quite trippy if you're not careful.
Are sedatives prescribed to treat anxiety, panic attacks, or insomnia. They're usually taken as pills, and they work by enhancing GABA, a brain chemical that slows down activity and brings calm. After swallowing one, the onset feels like relief. Muscles loosen, thoughts quiet, and the world stops feeling so sharp. Your heart slows, your body relaxes, and stress drifts away like fog. At the peak, everything feels soft and distant. Worry fades, time drifts, and sleep comes easily. But as the come down starts, drowsiness turns to confusion, memory slips, and emotion flattens. With frequent use, the brain forgets how to stay calm without it. Benzos are highly addictive, especially when used beyond prescription. Over time, tolerance builds fast, meaning you need more for the same calm. Stopping suddenly can cause anxiety, tremors, or even seizures, a withdrawal that can be dangerous without medical help. They quiet your mind, but silence can be addictive. The danger isn't the calm they bring, it's how easily they convince you that you can't live without it.
But yeah, that's crazy. I can't lie. So now that you truly know how these drugs work, I hope you understand that the temporary high is not worth the lifetime worth of anxiety, depression, and withdrawals. It's just not worth it. You need to weigh out the pros and the cons. Temporary enjoyment, long-term suffering. And if you're an intelligent human being watching this video, which you probably are because you watch me, then I know you'll make the right decision. But anyway, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. See ya.